Hello everyone and welcome back to a very exciting chess game, once again by Akiba Rubinstein. And in this chess game, Akiba Rubinstein had the white pieces and his opponent was Johann Berger. So let's talk a little bit about Rubinstein's opponent. Actually, he was an important Austrian chess master, theorist and endgame study composer. He was also an author and editor. And he also competed in many important international chess tournaments. He was born in 1845 and he died in 1933. So he was also the first Austrian to win an important international correspondence tournament from 1889 to 1892. So he was actually a pretty strong chess player, Johann Berger. And today I will try to show a very nice chess endgame study by this chess player and chess problem composer as well. So this chess game was played in the Karlsbad chess tournament from 1907, which is actually a significant and important chess tournament, which Akiba Rubinstein actually won this tournament. I heard that Akiba Rubinstein was basically at his peak from 1907 until 1913 or 14, until the First World War. Some even say, some chess experts are thinking that Rubinstein was actually the superior player between Lesker and him. And this Karlsbad chess tournament from 1907 was the first of 4 great Karlsbad chess tournaments. The other important Karlsbad tournaments was from 1911, 1923 and 1929. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Karlsbad belongs to Czechoslovakia or Czech Republic in today, but back then it was part of Austria-Hungarian Empire. So one of the important chess players who competed in this tournament, and let me also show you a nice picture from this tournament. So one of the important players who competed in this tournament was Johann Berger, Mikhail Chigorin, George Salve, Jack Mises, David Janowski, Richard Teichmann, Geza Moroksi, Karl Schlechter, Frank James Marshall, of course Akiba Rubinstein, Rudolf Spielmann, Eric Kohn, and Aaron Nimzowitsch, Tartakover, and these are some of the important players who competed in this tournament, and Rubinstein dominated the tournament with scoring 12 wins, 6 draws and only 2 losses. So okay, with all being said, let's see what happened in this chess game. Akiba Rubinstein, who had the white pieces, he starts the game with d4. We have d5 by Berger, knight to f3, c5, e3, and Rubinstein is going to play the call system. So we have bishop to d3, but this formation is known as the Rubinstein's attack of the call system. So he was the first chess player who played this opening. Maybe this was a novelty at the time. So knight from b to d7 and Rubinstein castled. Bishop to d6, bishop to b2, and also black castled, developing the knight, queen to c7 and then c4. And we have e5, and this was an impatient move. It was a little bit inaccurate move, and we know that Rubinstein was a very dangerous chess player. Even a small mistake, even a slight advantage for him was good enough for winning almost every game. A very strong chess player, ladies and gentlemen. He was very strong. So this was actually, it looks like an innocent move, but this was not a very good move. Almost most of the modern chess grandmasters of today would play something much more natural and much more solid in this position. So e5 was a little bit impatient. So can you see how should black play in this position? What would you do if you had the black pieces? So if I give you few seconds, which is very simple, of course. Can you see a natural move in this position? Okay, I mean, of course, b6, and you can also develop the bishop. The bishop is being blocked in this position by the knight and also by the pawn. So maybe with this move, he also wants to open the bishop, but after moving the knight, of course. But actually, this was not a very good move, because black has some weaknesses, and I believe black made some calculation mistake. Rubinstein simply captures the pawn. E takes on d4. Well, if knight takes on d5, actually this is going to vacate on e4 for the knight, and this is advantage for white. It is not all over or anything for black, but this is an advantage. So e takes on d4, e takes on d4, and then knight takes on d5. But there is a problem in this position, of course. Rubinstein immediately points out that problem with playing rook to c1, and the c-pawn is pinned in this position. So knight takes, well, black could also try it, cd, but then rook to c1, and white is going to have the open files. Also rook to e1 is also possible, and that is also an advantage for white. And the computer chess engine says white is much better if cd, but it is getting very complicated, so I'm not going to show endless variations in my channel. So let's continue. Knight takes on d5, rook to c1, pinning the pawn, and then knight to f4. It is white to move. Now I like the next move of Rubinstein. So this is attacking the bishop, and Rubinstein simply played knight to e4, activating the knight, a multi-purpose move, putting more pressure on the c-pawn and also defending the bishop. So a very nice move. Giving up the bishop, but how to defend the c-pawn. So this looks a little bit dangerous for black. We have bishop to f4, and if you noticed, black still haven't managed to develop the bishop, but simply defending the rook, and it is black to move. Now black is naturally defending the c-pawn, but this is actually not defending. Can you see why? It looks like black is just defending in this position, but actually this is not defending because of d takes on c5 by Akiba Rubinstein. Knight takes, pawn takes, what else? And it is white to move. What would you do in this position if you had the white pieces? It is very simple actually. Can you see the next move for white? Okay, so I hope you have seen queen to c3, both attacking the c-pawn, and black can't defend the pawn because otherwise he would get checkmated. Double threat, both threatening checkmate and attacking the c-pawn. Rubinstein was very accurate. It looks like this is just very simple and very obvious, but that's just because he was so good. So the game continued. Defending the checkmate threat, what else? And then capturing the pawn. And there is no compensation for black. White is a pawn up. Where is the compensation? So developing the bishop at move 20. Defending the rook and placing the rook in the open file. Black should at least try to defend for the open file. That would be much more accurate, but we have rook from f to c8. And then developing the bishop and defending the rook. Rook over and rook to a5, and this was also a very strong move by Akiba Rubinstein. Attacking the bishop, and we have bishop to b7, defending the bishop, but actually in this position you might also think what happens if, obviously after defending the bishop, Rubinstein simply captured the a-pawn. Let me tell you that it is that simple, but if trying to defend the bishop like this, actually after bishop to c5, this is also a losing position for black, because obviously if rook over to c6, then knight to d4, and how do you deal with that? After moving the rook, we can take the bishop. Black can capture the bishop. I think I don't know, it is getting complicated, but it is still losing, of course. And then the rook can infiltrate in some variations. So let's say rook to d5. Actually, this is the move of the chess engine, and simply capturing the bishop, but now the pawns are rolling down the board. After a4, as you can see, white has the advantage. White is better, white is a pawn up, and yeah, I mean, we can say that white has the advantage. So we have bishop to b7, but I don't know if this was the better move, because this is simply losing the a pawn. Bishop takes on f3. Well, if capturing the rook, then bishop takes a rook. That would be a blunder. So this is why Rubinstein captured the bishop with the pawn, a very beautiful move. So if capturing the rook, bishop takes. If capturing the bishop, rook takes rook. So we have rook over and then bishop to e3. Simplifying the game. And this endgame is winning for white. Easily, Rubinstein is 2 pawns up. He has 2 connected pass pawns in the outside. So rook to d1, checking the king, but this check does nothing. Infiltrating. So this is why I told you that black should try to fight for the open file. The open files is very dangerous. So this is also known as the pick on the 7th. When the rook is on the 7th rank, which is going to collect everything. It's a saying, it's a famous chess saying. So h5, but the picks on the 7th is collecting the pawn. So after moving the king, check. Actually, this is losing by force. Rubinstein checks the king once again, and then Rubinstein simply played rook to d7. And black has to simplify the game, and this is all over. So if, of course, I mean, this is very obvious, but I'm just saying if capturing the pawn, then black is getting checkmated in one move. And if exchanging the rooks, simply capturing the rook, and white has actually 3 extra pawns and 2 outside connected pawns. So this is easily winning for Akiba Rubinstein. What a game, what a game. So thank you so much for watching, and this was one of the beautiful chess games from the historically important Karlsbad chess tournament from 1907. So, okay, I hope to see you next time again. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.